Hi guys, Assalamu alaikum. This is Aamna and you're watching episode 3 of Aamna 101. आज हम बात करेंगे प्यार की, about love. As human beings, we're all very used to loving. It comes very naturally to us. बच्चा पैदा होता है, about loving your children, your parents, your siblings, your friends, family, people who experience a spiritual kind of love with Allah. There are so many different kinds of love. But आज हम बात करेंगे the love we have for animals. I think it's the purest form of love. Some of us have experienced it and some of us haven't. As a child मुझे याद है कि हमारे दादा के घर में मुर्गियाँ हुआ करती थीं. That was our first brush with animals. उसके अलावा कभी घर में पेट्स नहीं थे. अम्मी को बहुत ज़्यादा सफाई का OCD था and it was like no animals in the house. So the most I remember is having a goldfish, which I think my brother killed, and a chick. चूज़ा. इससे ज़्यादा कभी पेट्स नहीं हुए. परिंदों से भी उनको होता था OCD, गंद होगा, बिल्लियाँ, कुत्ते, no way. So we grew up in a house that had no indoor animals, but there were a lot of farm animals, like बकरियाँ भी आती थीं. और I remember खाला के घर में एक हिरनी हुआ करती थी, which we called Pepsi, and she used to be in the backyard. मुर्गियाँ बेतहाशा होती थीं. So those are the kind of animals that we grew accustomed to having around us. कुछ साल पहले जब मेरा बड़ा बेटा मूसा when he went abroad for his undergrad अमेरिका, तो मुझे ऐसा लगा जैसे दो बच्चों में से एक बच्चा जो है वो चला गया. So I was a little low. At that time Heather brought me a kitten और that was my first pet and this was literally मेरे ख्याल है 4 साल पहले. वो किटन थी, उसका नाम हमने पश्मीना रखा. लोगों ने बहुत मजाक उड़ाया कि तुमने अपने बच्चे को रिप्लेस कर दिया किटन के साथ, but that's how it was. And she brought so much love into our lives. And she was a beautiful cat. Princess थी बिल्कुल. Unfortunately, she didn't survive more than a year. उसकी कोई medical problems थी and she couldn't make it. We were all so depressed because हमने इतना प्यार उसको दिया भी और उससे लिया भी. और लोग कहते हैं कि जी बिल्लियाँ बड़ी अलूफ होती हैं, बड़ी cold होती हैं, but that's not what we experienced. And it was, I think, for me, it was a life-changing experience to have a pet. हमने फ़ौरन सोचा अब एक और बिल्ली रखें. Do we want to go through that heartbreak? ना रखें, क्या करें? But we got Juno. So we got this little guy and he replaced Pashmina and he's brought so much joy to our lives. आप लोग मेरी Instagram पे भी देखते होंगे that he's quite a character. बैठता भी अजीब तरीके से है, बहुत demanding है, बहुत खेलता है, lots of fun. So animals bring such therapy. इतना therapeutic touch है, they bring so much joy. एंड इनका प्यार इतना सेल्फलेस होता है कि इनको कुछ नहीं चाहिए बदले में. दे जस्ट गिव एंड इट्स सो ब्यूटीफुल, स्पेशली इन दिस लास्ट 1 year कोरोना के दिनों में when you couldn't meet your friends and you couldn't hug and there was no intimacy, no interaction with anybody. It was so therapeutic and comforting to have a pet that you could love and that you could hug and cuddle, and it was lovely. So to take my newfound interest a step further, मैंने सोचा कि बहुत दिनों से मुझे ये ख्याल था कि मैं ACF को विज़िट करूं. आयशा चुंद्रीगर फाउंडेशन, उनका एक बहुत बड़ा शेल्टर है कराची में. इट्स ऑन द आउटस्कर्ट्स. इट्स अ रेस्क्यू बेसिकली एंड दे डूइंग सम फैबुलस वर्क. आई डिडंट नो एक्चुअली जब तक मैं वहाँ गई नहीं. अच्छा, आप ये ख्याल रखें कि मुझे आई एम नॉट कंफर्टेबल अराउंड एनिमल्स सो मच. मेरा ख्याल था कि जानवर जो हैं वो इनक्लोजर्स में होंगे या अपने अपने एरियाज़ में होंगे. एंड But when we drove into the rescue, they were all around. Of course, जो ज़रा से tame थे, puppies थे, they were running around. कोई 250 कुत्ते थे जो एक enclosure में थे. एक enclosure में there were eagles, there were monkeys, cats, and the cutest of all, the donkeys. So we had a great time. I spoke to Aisha Chundrigar at length, and she spoke about how we should treat animals as a society. What are we doing? आजकल हम इतना सुन रहे हैं DHA में, खासतौर पर कराची में, killing of dogs. या उनको जो पॉइजनस मीट खिलाया जा रहा है, वो जो स्ट्रेज नहीं खाते, वो परिंदे उठा लेते हैं, वो परिंदे गिराते हैं घरों में भी, आपके पेट्स भी खा रहे होते हैं, फार्म एनिमल्स भी खा रहे होते हैं. इट्स जस्ट वेरी वेरी डेंजरस, वेरी पॉइजनस एंड वेरी क्रूअल. सो द वे वी ट्रीट आवर एनिमल्स इज़ वेरी क्रूअल. हम बच्चों को बीच पे लेके जाते हैं, सांप वाले को पैसे देते हैं तमाशा देखने के लिए, बंदर वाले को पैसे देते हैं. वो जो भालू होते थे अब शुक्र है कम नज़र आते हैं. वी डोंट रियलाइज़ कि ये जानवर वो हैं जो कि एक ठंडे हैबिटेट में रहने के आदी हैं, बट वी ब्रिंग देम हियर एंड इट्स क्रूअल्टी. So I want you to join me on this trip to the ACF. and see how they're taking care of animals. उनका क्या procedure है, जानवरों को भी मिलिए. There are some very very cute dogs, very adorable cats, kittens जिनको acid attack हुआ है, जिनकी दुम काटी गई है, या कि कुत्ता है जिसके कान काट दिए गए हैं. I can't even imagine कि वो किस किस्म के इंसान हैं जो ये हरकतें करते हैं. एक ऐसे जानवर पे जो कि बोल नहीं सकता, मांग नहीं सकता, सिर्फ दे ही सकता है आपको. So it's Valentine's Day, and while we are loving all the usual suspects in our lives, thankless and thankful, I want you to take a minute and think of the love you can give to animals around you. And if you have a child, get the child a pet. It will only do wonders. एनिमल शेल्टर बैठे हैं, आपको कुत्तों की और गधों की और मुख्तलिफ किस्म के जानवरों की आवाज़ें आती रहेंगी. That's the beauty of being here. We have people all around who are trying to quieten them down, but it's going to happen. I'm here with Aisha Chandragar. Aisha, thank you so much for taking out the time. I know that you're like super busy.
Thank you for having me. This is great.
No, this is great, and I'm so glad I came. And I would say I'm an animal lover, but I'm not so comfortable with so many animals, like, surrounding me all.
Yeah, we have like 650 at a time. Any given time, there are about
650.
animals.
They're all quite disciplined, I have to say.
Yeah, it's more like this place is like a sanctuary more than a shelter. Because when people think of a shelter, वो सोचते हैं कि they're cages और बस कुत्ते या बिल्लियाँ cages में बंद हुए हुए.
बिल्कुल.
Or they think it's like a maidan, and you just throw a bunch of animals in there. Like, what I wanted to create was a sanctuary.
Right.
So, and I'm a psychotherapist for humans, but I sort of adopted these psychotherapeutic techniques for animals. I use this, and which is really interesting because animals have the same, say, attachment styles or insecurities or healing methods or trauma release. It's very similar to human beings. So I essentially use the same therapeutic techniques that I would for humans for animals. And
what convinced you to, or what motivated you to sort of transition from humans to animals?
It's I don't know if I made the transition per se. I think it was more, I didn't even know I was going to be a therapist. I was initially a journalist, and I was living in the UK. And then I was working over there. I was getting a couple of modeling contracts. I was more towards like being an actor or something. I wanted to do something creative. But I started getting severe anxiety and really bad depression because I was like, I mean, I can do all of that. I can live the glamorous life, or I come back here and I do something that's really unheard of. Because if someone had to start, everyone thinks someone needs to do it. And I sort of realized if I need to be that someone, because you can't wait for someone to come and save you, or you can't wait for someone to come and do something. You have to be the someone. You have to be the hero of your own story, essentially. So I decided to leave everything and come back. And I just registered this non-profit. It was meant to be, it wasn't meant to be just an animal rescue. It was meant to be like I was working with acid burn survivors as a therapist. I work with orphans, people with disabilities and special needs. So it was going to be a very all-inclusive. Our vision is essentially to help those who are neglected and ignored in society, like the outcasts. And I wanted to give them something, because I guess I know what it's like to feel like an outcast or an outsider. So it was a very personal journey. And then I started, but I did not realize the amount of animal abuse in the country, or just our treatment towards animals, which is what I really want to do a PhD in now, because as a therapist,
I've seen a lot.
I've seen things. I have the kind of data about human behavior that I don't think anyone in this country has, because ironically through animals I learned so much about human nature, the extremes of cruelty and the extremes of kindness. And I've seen a lot of people because they don't hate animals because they hate animals. There's something in their own life, their own trauma, their own history of, say, abuse or neglect that they project onto those who are weaker than them. So I sort of approach this from that therapeutic perspective, where I was like, you know what's really missing in society is this idea of empathy. And all of us feel sympathy. We feel bad when we see something, particularly for people, because we identify with people.
Right.
So the main thing is that we're going to be like, you know, that could happen to me. And that's why we feel more for people, because they look like us and it could happen to us or someone that we love. With animals, we don't feel empathy as much because they don't look like us.
Yeah.
We think the abuse that happened with them will never happen with me anyway,
Right.
so it's not a big deal.
Right.
And that, I don't get that. The problem is that we feel very entitled that this universe has been made for us.
Right.
And that really makes the world a very small place, because I used to feel the same way. I mean, I had these ideas in my head, but I feel like they've been refined over the last few years, because I study philosophy, I study literature, I study science. I need to know, because the things I see, the injustices I see daily.
Do you think they're getting better with time, or is it getting worse?
You know, I think awareness is spreading.
It is.
So I think, like, when I started with a Facebook page and just myself, and I would just write stories. Like, I would take an animal's picture who was wounded, he was poisoned or shot, or a dog's tail was cut off, or a cat had boiling water thrown on her. And so I would take their before pictures, which were very gruesome, and even I hadn't been so up close with so much abuse. Then next to that, I'd put up their after pictures where I'd help them heal and recover, and they were all happy. And I'd write a story from their point of view. Hi, I'm Tilly, and I was really scared when I was on the road. So I started like that, and people just started. That's how ACF came about. People started picking up on what I wanted to give them a voice from, and I had to humanize animals for people to understand them.
Right.
So I think a lot of awareness has been spread, because now you have so many people talking about it. Animal welfare has become something. When I started, it was like, why the hell are you even trying?
So tell me about the animals that you rescue. It's all over Karachi. I mean, I just want people to know about this great service that you're providing, because instead of killing dogs or on the roads, or, you know, all you need to do is make a call.
Yeah, so the thing is, so the way this works is really interesting, because it's like we are one hospital for all of the animals of Karachi. So there are 15 lakh dogs roughly in just this city, and there are no specific statistics to even tell us. So imagine one hospital for all the people of Karachi. So we are one sanctuary, old age home, orphanage, hospital for all the animals of Karachi.
And you have trained doctors and vets
we have a vet team now. I started again, it all grew. It was me and a volunteer vet. Now I have about 45 staff members.
Wow.
So we grew over time. We have a vet team, we have a rescue team, we have an ambulance service that we get calls every day, like a 911 kind of a service.
How many calls do you get a day?
You know, we get on our social media, we get maybe about 200 messages a day for something or the other. Be it, this dog got run over, or this dog has got shot, like which is happening a lot these days. This cat had acid thrown on her. This kitten has been run over by a car.
How could a human being throw acid on an animal? I mean, it's just unheard of.
It is so common.
Just unbelievable. Really?
It is so common over here. All of these animals, you'll see, they all are, they all are victims of abuse at the hands of the human.
Unbelievable.
So, and that's what's scary, that we are breeding violence in our society without even knowing that this is such a root cause of so many of the other issues.
We're so comfortable with cruelty, it seems.
We are.
Looking at these animals.
And I think my team, all the people, like, you can't do this without having a brilliant team.
Right.
Because you get in 5 to 15 new rescues a day.
Right.
All sorts of injuries. You have about 600 plus animals who live with you. We do things like we go on the road and we do donkey camps. We we provide free medical treatment, food and water to donkeys all over Karachi. We educate the owners that dekhe agar aap inko aise nahi mare, and this is the way a donkey actually is. They'll do twice the work.
Should we walk around and meet some of the animals?
We can do that. This is baby boy Blue.
Okay.
That's Indigo, his mummy. His mummy had her ear was chopped off, and she was skinny when she came, and she had wounds all over her body from being beaten, and she came pregnant. You know, it's just really lovely to see when they're in a safe environment. Donkeys are a lot like dogs. They hug you, they kiss you, and they jump on you. They're like adorable. They're such gentle creatures. In fact, abroad they're used for therapy for like children with disabilities and special needs, because donkeys are so empathic. They have such a capacity for empathy that you can project a lot of your feelings into them, and they start reacting and responding to your feelings, which helps the therapist identify the feelings of children and people who are not able to express themselves. And donkeys we don't release, donkeys we keep, because they come in such an injured way that we can't let them back out. Plus, I just want whatever life they have left, I want them to live a good life.
We want them
and
to
they are
live well.
very spoiled. Like, she's a new donkey. She came to us from Hyderabad with a broken leg. If you notice, she has multiple wounds all over her body from being beaten. She was skinny. She has finally been able to stand up. She couldn't stand up because she was in so much pain. So all of these guys have come in like bad states. Come here. Come on. Come here. Come here. Hello, baby boy. So you just hold it like this.
Okay.
And then you give it like this. Take it. Do you like the... Sorry. There you go. Come here, little one.
Here you go. Here.
Come here, little one. Come here, Indigo. Hi. 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 Yeah. Yeah. There you go. There you go.
She knew what to do.
Yeah, she knows. She knows. She knows. And so when they put their ears back, it means they want you to pet them.
Okay.
So, and donkeys see from the side of their eyes, they don't see from the front. So can you imagine on the road when they're stuck in traffic and people are blaring the horns and they are made to run, they can't see straight, they're seeing from the side. This little guy is Bona. We also know everyone's names by heart.
Okay, and there are how many cats here?
In just this area, there may be about like 60, 70 cats.
Yeah.
Then we have more rooms over there. In total, there are probably like 150, 200 cats.
So Aisha, how are you on funding this place?
It's really tough because it's essentially run on individual donors, which is really scary because it's not going to be sustainable forever. So, because again, through social media, everyone sees our work, and what you see on social media is essentially what you get when you're here. So we're really transparent, and that's how we have like maybe thousands of donors who help, because running this place is really expensive. It's like a whole really massive operation.
Are you a dog person or a cat person yourself?
Dog. I'm dog and donkey.
Dog and donkey.
Dog and donkey. Okay. Donkey, I feel like, is like my spirit animal, because the beauty of donkeys is that they are so misunderstood. And okay, I'll tell you a really interesting thing about donkeys that blew my mind, is that, you know, like all other animals here, they have a fight or flight mode, right? So like if there's danger, they're going to run, right? What donkeys do is they don't fight or fly, they freeze. So when people say stubborn as a mule, they're not stubborn. They just freeze and they internalize all of their emotions. So that's why when you hit them, you never hear a scream, because they keep it all inside.
Guys, we just spent a lovely day at the ACF animal shelter. It's not just a shelter, rehabilitation हो रही है जानवरों की. एक आपको बहुत अच्छा एहसास है कि यहाँ जानवरों का ख्याल रखा जा रहा है. To be honest, I was not comfortable when I got here, but अब आप देख रहे हैं, all these lovely dogs and puppies are surrounding me. I'm fine with them. I think जो बातें आयशा ने कही, it's so important to actually listen to what she's saying. जो कोई भी society अपने जानवरों का ख्याल नहीं रखती, उनमें थोड़ी सी ह्यूमैनिटी, थोड़ी नहीं बहुत ही कम होती है. आजकल जो हम सुन रहे हैं कि बिल्लियों पे एसिड फेंकना, या I mean look at this guy, it's so adorable. So take care of the animals in your community, ना उन पे जुल्म करें, बच्चों को भी सिखाएं. And I would say कि encourage your children to have pets, because it just teaches you so much love, and it teaches you how to nurture other human beings. It brings you happiness. It's therapeutic. ये सब बातें हैं. This was a motivational session. I hope आप लोगों ने गौर से देखा होगा. And देखा होगा कि जो जुल्म हो रहे हैं जानवरों पे, वो इंसान कर रहे हैं. तो हम कैसे लोग हैं, सोचने की बात है. I hope you guys take away a really good message from this, and help these guys. I mean, they need help and they need love.